The No Nonsense Roundtable. It's a weekly show broadcast on Rochester, New York's 50,000-watt iHeart radio station, News Radio Wham 1180. The host, Dom Geneva, interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. What you are about to hear is a recording of a previous broadcast with limited commercials. Now, here's host, Dom Geneva.
Well, welcome everybody to another edition of the No Nonsense Roundtable. 10 o'clock right here every week, and all the previous shows, as I'd like to say to you, are on NoNonsenseRoundtable.com. Now, if the show, again, is about people you know, you want to know more about, and people you don't know, you should know, here is somebody who is both. A local guy, world-known musician, Rochester guy, played with a lot of different bands nationally or internationally. One was Spyro, Gyra, which I think a lot of people will remember. And his name is Chet Catallo. Chet, I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Dom.
Well, you know, you're a Rochester guy. So, I mean, where were you? Were you born? What time were you born in?
I was born. My birthday's March 11th. 53. Good year.
Okay.
Just around rock and roll.
Okay.
And I grew up in East Irondequoit.
Okay, East Irondequoit. Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny because we had somebody on the show who was a. He's national. I won't say what the guy's name is, but he's internationally known. He's got a web address and a web program on YouTube, and he's supposedly from Rochester. But I asked him, you know, tell me what you would rather have, Abbott's or Savoya, and he goes, "What's Savoya?" That's not a Rochester guy. You're a Rochester guy. You know.
I know Savoya. I know a lot of Varas. I know this.
Yeah. Maybe you're Italian. Maybe you can answer for me. Why don't we have enough as many Italian delis as we should have? We only have like a couple of Italian delis. Ever notice that? There's only a couple of Italian delis.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Well, let's talk about you and your childhood and growing up and how you got involved in music and that whole thing. People love to hear how people started out.
Okay. Well, basically, from as far back as I can remember, my mom and dad, they loved music, and they grew up the Depression days, and so they went through the whole big band era stuff, right? And they grew up with music. My father, my mother, they loved music. My father, God rest his soul, he collected all the records and everything, and he used to hook up their systems. And anyway, so when I was born in the house, music would always be playing. All great stuff, My mom lived, and they loved jazz. Well, jazz was the popular music
back then. Sure,
the big band era, right?
Yeah,
and they danced. My mom brags, says, Tony Bennett, Count Basie band, Harry James, this and that, Buddy Rich, everybody. I danced to all these people. Yeah. Frank Sinatra when he was coming. I was a Bobby Soxer. She said so. Basically, music was in the house all the time, and I was like. When I was
absorbing it. Yeah.
I'm absorbing it subliminally, right? And and music come on, I'd get up and my mom would tell me, Chet, they got home movies of me, 2 years old dancing around. I loved the music. Yeah. And they used to buy me for toys. Some of my toys were musical instruments. And I gravitated to it. I loved the music, and they bought me a set of drums. Toy drums. Little vibraphone, little thing, xylophone, guitars, little toy pianos, and I just relished in it, and I always gravitated. Yeah. So that was the beginning of me tinkering with this stuff. And as I got a little older, I started getting more like I used to go to my aunt's house, and she had a Hammond organ, I'd always go over to Aunt Betty, can I play the screw around with this? She says, sure, yeah, and I'd figure out little chords and stuff. And finally, so I picked up a guitar one day, And I found that I could easily manipulate it, mechanically.
Well, you're natural at it?
It was
really?
For some reason, I figured it out. I mean, I had the coordination for it, right? And nobody showed me, right? And just I'm messing around, and then I looked at some chord books and I figured out some stuff. And after doing this for a little bit, a record would come on, and I was able to figure out. Don't ask me how, but by ear.
But God's gift. I mean, God just gave you a gift.
Absolutely.
It's sort of like a prodigy thing. How old were you?
I was about 8 years old.
Yeah, I would call that a prodigy. Sure.
Well, something like that. I hesitate to
I got that.
You know what I mean? Ego-wise,
I know you're trying to be humble, but the thing is that God, if you're at 8 years old and you're picking up a guitar, and you're doing anything other than strumming, one chord. God gave you a gift.
I'm hearing these songs, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And
it didn't matter what genre. If I liked the record, I'd start playing along, or I'd try to figure it out. And 9 times out of 10, I was able to get, unless it was like really sophisticated something.
Yeah.
Too young yet to get it. And so over time, and so put it this way, when the Beatles came out, I went bananas.
Yeah.
At that point, I could play, right? So those records, when the Beatles came out, I was playing Ventures. Remember the Ventures?
No, I don't remember.
They were instrumental guitar band.
Uh-huh.
And they used to play like the surf type music, right? By early 60s. Uh-huh. And Dwayne Eddy, you heard of Dwayne Eddy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So all that instrumental guitar stuff I used to gravitate to, and I'd learn those songs by ear.
Yeah.
And I started a band when I was like by 9, 10 years old, about a little trio. And I was playing in my grammar school. And I would learn the tunes.
Yeah.
Because I could do it, and I'd teach it to Chet. What are the chord changes? What are this and that? Well, here's the record. Listen, but here's...
Yeah.
I write down the changes and this and that. And I would teach the guys, if they didn't figure it out, I'd show them. And we used to play little parties in grammar school, and I just gravitated from there. But the more I played, the more sophisticated I was able to. Certain things that were more difficult, I just grew with experience doing it.
And now, do you read music or?
Yes, I can read music. I can read, but I'm not a. I didn't keep it up. Well, I mean, I could read music, but to be a great reader, you got to do it all the time.
Well, there's reading music, and I think there's reading music, and this is what, like Scott Mayo, a good friend of mine. I said when you look at that sheet music, do you hear it in your head? He goes, yes, I hear it in my head. I hear it in my head. Now when you read it, do you hear it in your head, or is it sort of like you're kind of working through it?
Well, see. Well, there's a little difference here. If I know the song, I can hear it without reading the notes.
Okay.
But if you put down sheet music in front of me, I could read chord changes like crazy. I know I could read a thing, follow a thing, and play it without that. The thing is, the single line stuff. I got to a point early on, I started out doing it, I was pretty good at it. Now, I didn't keep that part of it up, okay? So I got lazy with that, basically, because I could pick it up faster if I just heard it. I said, screw this. And I said, but I kept up all the theory and all that stuff, and I learned, and I could read the stuff, but there's guys that's sight readers, they do it all the time.
Yeah, Paul McCartney can't read music.
No, but he could write chord changes. I mean, it's the same kind of thing.
And with that, we are heading into, believe it or not, our first break, and we'll see everybody will hear us after the break. This is Dom for my friend John Myers and his new company, Life Interviews. I'm going to ask you to go look at the website he has, Life Interviews. There's no T in it, Interviews, where you'll see a fantastic presentation on what they do. And what they do is create a video legacy for you to pass down to future generations. More than just getting your DNA, you can pass down your story. Go see, you'll be amazed. It's a great idea, but do me a favor. Wait to the end of the No Nonsense Roundtable. This is Don from Martinizing Dry Cleaning in Fairport. Todd, the owner, was a corporate guy just like me. Left his corporate job to start his business, Martinizing Dry Cleaning in Fairport. And boy, what a great business it is. He picks your clothes up and drops them off, which is really great, especially now that the weather's getting the way it is. I have to tell you, they have a 4.9 rating out of 5 on Google. Go see them. 425-4242. 425-4242. I use them. You should too. Well, welcome back. We're talking to Chet Catallo, a Rochester guy. I get you know, just calling you a musician is not enough. You know, you're more than that. You've been all around the world. You've been places that we can only dream of. But let's get you back to Rochester with you growing up here and the different the different things you've done or whatever. What was your first paid gig?
First paid gig.
Usually somebody says, you know, I got $5 for playing somebody's birthday or something when I was 10. I mean, what was it?
Okay. Okay. Where did I leave off? Okay. Yeah. I'm a kid. Okay. I got a little band. Maybe I'm 10, 12 years old.
Okay. What's the name of the band? Oh, you have to remember.
Wait. Chet and the Jets.
Oh, I like that.
Chet and the Jets.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And anyway, we played some parties for family, you know, and I remember going to my cousin's wedding, right? And they had a band, a full band for the wedding ceremony. Anyway, my cousin had asked, do you think Chet might want to play a few tunes or something with his guys at the wedding for a little, a little, you know, thing? I said, and they asked me, I said, yeah, I'll do it. So I got up and I had my couple of guys with me that were invited to the wedding. And during the segment somewhere, right? So we're gonna have my little cousin play some tunes for you. A little, break it up a little. So I played a few songs, and I even sang. Not that great, but the guitar play was pretty decent. Okay, the guys could play decent. I remember doing. I did "Till There Was You."
Aww.
That song "Till There Was You" because I heard Paul McCartney do it, and I learned it from the Beatles. I learned it verbatim. And I did a Ray Charles tune. I think I did "What I Say," Ray Charles, and maybe an instrumental something, maybe like "Sleepwalk."
And you're singing too?
Well, that was an instrumental.
Okay.
The other ones were a couple of, and I sang the thing. And we were a little trio.
Yeah.
And then my family, they got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
You know? But that wasn't a paid gig, but... So I played some parties for the family, little, you know, get-togethers and stuff. I would, okay, that's fine. And in grammar school, I played little parties for the kids in grammar school and stuff. And then I remember got a gig. One of my first gigs, paid gigs, was a place. It was called the High Tide. It was on Lake Avenue.
Okay.
Down the street from the church there.
All right.
And it was in a little plaza. And we were underage, right? And this was this is another the next band I had.
That's so common.
It was called the Downbeats.
Yeah, okay.
The Downbeats. And we were about 13, something like that, right? And we played the High Tide. Because we were pretty good, you know, doing some cover stuff. And it was like, well, it was the four of us. And we played, and our parents took us to the with our equipment and had to pick us up. Now, I had a cousin there who was much older, right? And I'll keep an eye on him, I'll make sure nothing. Right? I had my own security.
So we played. You had your own muscle.
Yeah, no, we did. I swear, because we were only 13, and my cousin was maybe 17, 18, right? And he had the black leather jacket on and his crew, just in case anything right not to mess with us. Anyway, we played.
Yeah. Okay.
And we did a bunch of popular tunes, a lot of Beatles stuff, and whatever was on the radio. We did that stuff, and the people liked it.
Yeah,
and I made a whole $12. We made $12 a piece that night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
cash money.
Yeah, but that's probably like $200 now. I mean, think about it. I mean, we're old. That was money back. That was money back then.
Yeah, I don't know what maybe they paid us a couple $100, not even. Right?
Yeah.
And we were thrilled, and that was I believe that from my memory. That was one of the first paid things.
So I mean, did you have a different job, or when you finally started in the business, and you were playing, were you at a point where you immediately were playing enough that you could support yourself, or were you doing something else?
I never had a day job. When I
really
went to, okay, all through school I played and got paid gigs and stuff. But I had when I was a kid, I had a part-time job at a grocery store.
Well, pretty much. But from pretty much. You're saying like just about from day one, you were able to support yourself with your music.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean,
that's kind of rare.
I know.
Yeah,
it was. But I ended up playing a lot of. I played some clubs and some parties. A lot of parties and clubs as I was young, and So I was progressing fast, okay? So I started writing my own music very young, right? So I got into doing that rather than shying away from covers and stuff. I did some cover stuff. I learned a lot of tunes from people that I admired. But I started getting into doing the original stuff and made that goal because now I'm thinking on a bigger scale, I want to do this and I want to make records. So I started writing stuff and really working on, and some older guys noticed my, level at a young age and took me under their wing and helped me out with this stuff. Like one of those bands was Portable People, who, John DeTondo, Johnny D was his nickname. He noticed, he got the word about, you got to come and hear this kid. He's like 13 years old, blah blah blah. He came over. We were rehearsing in the garage one day, right? Now, Johnny D at the time, this is like 67, 68, maybe something like that. He was going to New York City. And Portable People, his first version, they were playing along with the Rascals, Vanilla Fudge, Sly and the Family Stone, Ike and Tina Turner, B.B. King. They were making noise. They were going to get signed, and they had some stuff going. Anyway, so they were. John, he would come back. My girlfriend. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend yet. Her best girlfriend was she told John, he said he was married to her sister, you got to hear this kid and come and listen to him play. So he came one day to John's coming. Oh my God, this guy, he just played with Hendrix, he just played with this guy and that guy, he's going to come to our rehearsal. So we're a brick. Excuse my mouth. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
This is radio. Yes.
Bleep.
Okay. Yes.
Bleep. I'm sorry.
Bleep. Okay. We're heading to a news break. Thankfully, we're heading into a news break. So go ahead. You got 10 seconds to redeem yourself here. Go ahead.
So he came to our rehearsal and he was listening and he was impressed. He says, Chet, when you get the chance, I wanted you to come over my house. I want to turn around some records. So he started taking me under his wing at that point. And then things really started taking off for me.
All righty. Well, we are going into that news break, thankfully, and we're gonna see you on the other side if they still let us be on the air.
I'm sorry.
This is Dom for my friend John Myers and his new company, Life Interviews. I'm going to ask you to go look at the website he has, Life Interviews. There's no T in it, Interviews, where you'll see a fantastic presentation on what they do. And what they do is create a video legacy for you to pass down to future generations. More than just getting your DNA, you can pass down your story. Go see, you'll be amazed. It's a great idea, but do me a favor. Wait till the end of the No Nonsense Roundtable. Well, welcome back, everybody. We're talking to Chet Catallo, a world-famous Rochester musician, composer, all-around pretty good guy. But you've had a very interesting life. So we left you off when I think you were like 15 or 16. So let's kind of go as judiciously as we can to the point where you start mentioning Spyro Gyra.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, I went on the road, 18 portable people, recorded with those guys. That I was meeting a lot of headlining with some co-billing with all my blues idols. Well, that didn't happen. So
during the break, we were talking about that. Tell me who they were. I mean, you were saying
Freddie King,
yeah, right,
B.B. King, Johnny Winter,
right, cool,
Big Mama Thornton, on and on and on.
Yeah.
And so we were recording. We were working on a deal. The deal fell through, so we decided to move on. Me and the keyboard player. So we moved back, and then I jumped back to Rochester for a little bit. I connected with Danny LeBate from the Brass Buttons in a band called Sweet Feelin', and we tried to make a deal with that. That didn't happen. So Spyro Gyra was brand new, right? I heard about them, and so I went and saw them and said, "Are you happy with your guitar player?" And they said, "Well, no, we're making some changes." They were about to break up, actually, but they had a thing going, a possibility with a new record deal. They got interested in it, right? So I said, "Well, Chet," he goes, "Yeah, I would come in and jam with us and let me see, because we're making some changes to personnel." So I went the next day. I learned the first album overnight. I wrote it out and everything. I came and jammed with him, got the gig with him the next day.
Wow.
Now, we weren't famous yet, right? But we had some irons in the fire there and a possibility of a new record deal. So I joined. We went on the road, and I was only making $200 a week riding around in an RV. And we had our own crew because there wasn't a lot of money, but we were self-contained. So anyway, got the new deal, came through for MCA, Infinity MCA, the new label, and we had finished the Morning Dance album, and they said we went to Europe. We went to England and toured England for a month, and in Europe. That record, with all the MCA push, went to #1 in England. So now we're getting treated like the Beatles jazz group, whatever.
And what little I know about that wasn't in the genre of like rock and roll or someplace where it really cut through a lot of different demographics.
Yes.
That song.
Yes.
I mean, we're play it during the break, but
the thing about that
was outstanding. Yeah.
And thank you. What the thing about our music was, it was very melodic.
Yes.
Okay. And we weren't set out to be a straight ahead jazz band. We didn't really have we all wrote. All the guys in the band were composers besides great musicians. We happened to just write the style, which crossed over. We combined jazz, funk, R&B, blues, Latin stuff, and rock. And that's just how we wrote, but it was heavy melodic stuff.
Yes,
so that's what made us real catchy.
Well,
crossed over in a different.
And I know, believe me, I know nothing about music, but Morning Dance, that's a steel drum that starts out with, right?
Yes.
I mean, like who thought? I mean, it works really well, but who thought of that?
But they hired Dave Samuels, the late Dave Samuels, who was a session player in New York City. He was a well-known. He played marimba, vibes, and steel drums. He's a great name, Dave Samuels.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when they were recording the Morning Dance album, they hired some studio musicians to augment what we were doing. So they said, wouldn't this song be great with the little, Dave Samuels? He's really hot. So Jay, he says, yeah, let's hire him. So they called him in. And from that day on, even before Morning Dance, they had his first thing was Shaker Song. And he was on that. So every time we went in, they would call Dave because they liked his thing. So that gave us that Caribbean kind of flavor, you know?
Yeah.
So we used them all the time. So that and the melodic content of all our tunes were very catchy. That's why we caught on. And we ended up crossing over to 6 Billboard charts.
Yeah.
Which nobody does in
I know.
instrumental stuff. So we sold 60,000 copies of our record, Morning Dance album, when we were in England. Got a silver album. They give you a silver album for that. When we finished our tour, we come back. Now, the States is jumping all over it. We're on 6 Billboard charts at once. It went to #1 in the jazz charts, and in the top 40, the top 20 in the pop charts, and on and on and on Billboard. When we came back, we were booked at Carnegie Hall for 2 shows, sold out shows, and the president in the middle of the show, he comes out, he goes, I got an announcement to make. He goes, Spyro Gyra has been named the #1 contemporary jazz band in the world.
Yeah.
It's #1 in England, and I'm here to present them with their first gold album for Morning Dance, and it's on its way to platinum. Yeah. And we're having a party for him. You're all welcome at the Russian Tea Room.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Well, and that's the thing that I really appreciate having people like you on the show, because you've been there. You have been. There are a lot of people that are. They haven't gotten that worldwide recognition or accolades or whatever, but you've been there. Now sometimes you know the music, but you don't know who the musicians were. It's sort of like I say that about the Rascals. Everybody knows It's a Beautiful Morning, and sort of the interesting thing with A Beautiful Morning is that it starts out with Swiss bells. Like, who thought of that? Okay.
I got to hear the record again.
Yeah, no, I'll let you hear it during the break. But it starts out with, who thought it? And same thing with Morning Dance. Who thought steel drums?
Yeah.
It's like, really, oh my God, it's really cool.
I don't know who thought of that.
Yeah.
Somebody made a suggestion.
Yeah.
And then David Samuels, maybe he suggested. I don't remember. Yeah. But he says, "What? I got an idea. Maybe let's try to steal drums for the intro." He's a great, unbelievable musician. God rest his soul. Yeah. And they put that in, and that sounds really nice. So we're experimenting, and so that became part of our sound. Now we were just mentioned the Rascals, and Gene Cornish, is one of the founders of the Rascals. He's in the National Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, you know Gene. You know Gene from way back. Another Rochester guy. I tell you, Gene and I talk. If it's not every day, it's every other day. Mm-hmm. So I said, tell me about Chet. He goes, a hell of a guitarist. He's a hell of a guitarist. Nice.
But the thing, I got to tell you something. When I hear somebody who's in the Hall of Fame say that, hey, Chet's a really great guitarist. He said if he ever, if he ever was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he gave a presentation. He said he'd blow the doors off.
Oh, that's cool.
That is a I tell you, that's a pretty good endorsement.
It's a very nice compliment.
Very nice.
I'm very flattered.
So I only have a couple of seconds before the next break, but so the other guys in Rochester, Chuck Piccato and Pat Prietti and I mean, so, and Gene and whatever. Did you cross paths with these guys back,
back
then?
Yeah. I knew them from a long time ago. But while I was growing up, those guys were a little older than me, and I always looked up to them.
Yeah.
And they knew about me. Here's this young kid.
Yeah.
He's pretty talented.
Yeah, Gene's
way up.
Yeah, Gene just turned 80 last year, so yeah, he's quite a bit older.
Okay, we got about a 10-year difference between us.
Yeah.
But man, I love the Rascals. I used to learn all their tunes.
Oh yeah.
And so they were heroes of ours as we're growing up.
So we're heading into our last break, and I think we have a phone call waiting, believe it or not, and we'll get to that when we get back. This is Dom Genova from my friend Jack Greco at Jack Greco Furniture. I'd invite you to go see Jack Greco if you're looking to buy furniture right now. But beyond that, I'd invite you to go see Jack Greco if you're ever going to buy new furniture. And why? You can look and dream and plan how exactly you'd like your furniture. The type of wood, construction is half the fun. It's going to be reflective of your taste, and quite frankly, you'll want to pass it down as an heirloom. Can't say that about the big box stores. Go see Jack. Well, welcome back, everybody. We are talking with Mr. Chet Catallo, and we got to the point where it's past the teenage years up to when he started playing for or with Spyro Gyra, which really had to be an incredible experience. And having heard that, we have somebody on the telephone who has a question to ask Chet. It's Tom. It's Tom Link, right? Your last name is Link.
It sure is.
Okay, so Chet is here. What question do you have for Chet?
Hey, Chet, I've been a longtime follower. I've been good with the music to the point where I was actually working security for John Scher Productions. So I'm good with the music scene. Okay. And, I followed you through Spyro Gyra and right through with the Cats.
Uh-huh.
Love your music. It doesn't matter. Loving you. Cafe Amore, all great hits.
You know all the stuff.
Yeah, getting there. And just recently, in listening to you, I was doing some inquiry with the Rochester Music Hall of Fame.
Uh-huh.
And noticed that you weren't in there.
Yeah.
So I put in a nomination for you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, and I got what appears to be a typical computerized generated thanks for your help and we'll see you later kind of thing. Kind of felt like I was getting blown off a little bit.
But, really? And why would they do that? I don't know.
I don't know, but I was a little disappointed, and I was looking for some other guys too, and was surprised at who I didn't see. Have you ever played with Mark Minetta?
Yes, he was a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine.
Yeah, Mark's a great guy. He grew out here in Webster with me and was good friends with my brother. And
you went to school?
Not in there either.
You went to school together?
Yeah, he went to school with my big brother Jimmy. My brother Jim actually helped him with a couple of bands he was in back in the day.
Okay.
Iron Mac and way back.
Yeah, I met Mark years ago, and I was in Spyro Gyra way before I met him. Okay, way before that. But I knew Mark for quite a while. I got in Spyro Gyra, and then I heard that he started working with Jeff Tyzik, and then he got on board with Chuck Mangione, which was great.
He did stuff with Chuck and Gap with the Rochester Philharmonic. Doc Severinsen.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Ben Vereen. He was phenomenal too.
Yeah, he was called on for several different things where he played. He got the opportunity to play with a bunch of different people and record with some of them also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, you seem to be a Rochester guy. He's a Rochester guy. These shared experiences and stuff like that. That's really cool. So Tom, thanks for calling in, and we'll see if we can't get your question answered somehow or other.
I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the ceremonies when you get inducted.
Well, yes. Well, I guess. They told me I was on the list somewhere, right? And
well, 12 years ago, you were on the list.
Yeah, well,
okay.
I don't know how it works.
I'm on several people's list, but
Probably we're all on our wives' list for something or other. Yes, Tom, thanks for calling in. We got to run.
You bet. Thanks,
okay,
Tom.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I have the same question because I put something online and I said, who thinks that Chet should be you're in the Hall of Fame and I mean, we had 650 people. 650
that answered you.
That answered, yeah, and said that you should.
That's fantastic.
You should be on. So I don't know what the the holdup is. Beyond me. But yes, I mean 650 people that go on to Facebook. And the other thing about this is that I'm a little bit of a marketing guy, right?
Yeah.
And I have an MBA in marketing. And I did the things with my dealership. I have my own advertising company. And if there's 650 people on Facebook, and not everybody has Facebook,
right?
So if you have 650 or 670 people going, oh, this guy is really quality. We love this guy, whatever. There's a lot. You have a lot more fans out there. There's a lot more love out there.
I get things.
There's
all
a lot
the
more
time.
love out there than you think.
I get notices all the time from people inquiring about it. I don't have the answers. All I know is that they said you should be in, and hopefully you get in. They asked me the question. I can't really answer them. I said, well, hopefully soon. But I'm very flattered that they write in constantly to me. I've gotten hundreds of emails and letters and this and that, inquiries about, Chet, you should be in there and this and that. And I said, well, we'll see, I know there's a lot of people that they're considering.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to say anything, like there's nothing negative here, but if you look at some of the people that have got inducted and wherever, they weren't in a Spyro Gyra. I mean, they've done very well for themselves, but if you talk about rising to the top, I would say, and they've been around since 2012. So 12 years. 12 years later, you spend, sooner or later that, that golden ring should have come around on the merry-go-round.
I hope so.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Life's like that. You can't press things too much. I guess.
I've been, doing this a long time. I've got all kinds of. I've been very fortunate and blessed. Really gifted, and I followed my dream. I'm very thankful and grateful for everything.
Well, if you look at that many people that you've affected, that and people might get tired of me with this quote because I use the quote all the time. It was Jackie Robinson said that a life has little meaning except for the effect it has on other lives. Okay, so if you've had your music and you've given people some joy and they remember it, like Tom does,
yes,
and they're loyal to you, and whatever the recognition you hope you get it from other people, but you're getting it from the people that love you.
It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful feeling because that's what God gave me this gift. Okay, and I followed my dream, and I've been very fortunate and travel the world and get this acknowledgments and awards. I didn't do it to get awards. I did it because it's my love, my passion, and to make people happy, And by my surprise, I got awards and Grammys and gold platinum albums and other halls of fame.
Other halls of fame?
Yes, right. Yes, there's more. I'm twice in Buffalo, in Tokyo. And in Japan and all the other Artists of the Year awards and other stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming in. It's been fun. I mean, it's really been fun spending time with you and getting to know you a little bit better. And
thank you. I've enjoyed the talking. I mean.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and next time when you come in and play something for us, you'll do that.
I could do that.
You could do that.
Sure.
Okay. Well, it's 10 o'clock on Saturdays that you'll listen to the No Nonsense Roundtable, or like I said, all the previous shows are on No Nonsense Roundtable.com. So I would say we'll see you next week, but we won't see you. You will be hearing us next week.
That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening. Tune in every Saturday from 10 to 11 on News Radio Wham 1180. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.